Noah Schnapp is the gift that keeps giving. While everyone's worried sick about the survival of their favorite characters in Stranger Things, you might have noticed how deep the poor online sleuths have had to dig to predict who's going to die. But with Will, Noah said, "That's not happening. Not on my watch." Let's see what the internet's favorite little dork might have given away when he posted the infamous BTS photos. First up, fans think Will Byers is Bones. When an entire fan base is already dangerously paranoid about your character's safety, a picture of you harnessed up doesn't really help now, does it? Schnapp shared a bunch of behind-the-scenes pics with his almost 23 million followers on Instagram on the day of the release of the first season. First of all, thanks for your service, Noah. But what he probably didn't notice was that among his cute little photo dump, there was also a not-so-little spoiler bomb. We understand that a nice mirror selfie is difficult not to post, but when you're wearing a potentially Vecnifying harness in it, maybe you should give it a second thought. The photo didn't gain much attention when it was first uploaded, but the minute people finished watching the first volume, they were quick to point out on Twitter how sus it actually was. In all the 7 episodes, Will isn't really doing much. He's just chilling, or at least trying to chill with his friends. Also, we got to see what a harness was needed for this season. It was to shoot the scenes where Vecna makes his victims fly before snapping the hell out of their bones. Go on, connect the dots. Exactly. Wearing the same harness as Sadie's when she got halfway Vecna'd has the fans convinced that their small bean Byers will also have the same thing happen to him, only that while Max got saved, Will's bones might very well get schnapped. If you've seen the online discussions about the show, you probably know that Will's death was something people were predicting way before the season was even released. There were of course a lot of reasons for it. Don't worry, we'll get into that in a minute. But one thing's for sure, this photograph has only given more strength to those rumors. So, is Will going to die or not? First, let's see which signs point to yes. Now, for how Will is in danger. A lot of people online have a lot of different theories that support the possibility of him saying goodbye. Sadly, all of them sound fairly plausible. One thing that can't be ignored about this character is his strong connection with Upside Down in the last 3 seasons. Sure, Nancy stabbed him with a red-hot iron rod to get the mind flayer out of him, but we can't rule out that there's still some Upside Down residue flowing in his veins. Don't forget that after all that, he could still sense the monster's presence in the 3rd season. How could that be a reason for him getting Vecna'd? Well, first, let's unpack a slightly far-fetched theory for you, because why not? See, most fans are sure that the real boss of the other dimension is Vecna, and the mind flayer was doing his work for him. Now, remember that the monster needed Will on his side to spy for him? And the poor kid did that, but in the end, he spied on him as well. It was obvious throughout that even when he was possessed, his heart still had goodness. Same thing in the 3rd season, where he also helped his friends against him. That mustn't have made Vecna very happy, so it's possible that he'd want to eliminate Will, and he's the only person who got flayed but not only survived, but turned against him. While that was what Robin would probably call a real shot in the dark, the next one has more weight. Vecna feeds on trauma. Will's got a mountain of that. Match made in Upside Down heaven, don't you think? If he invades Will's mind, he better grab that coffee, because it's going to be a field day. Let's see what we've got here trauma-wise. Nearly dying in the Upside Down, having worked for the Flayer and allowing the Demogorgons to have a feast on Bob, having the monster be exorcised out of him by being baked raw, and coming back to friends who've all changed and moved on. There's a whole shelf of trauma to pick from. Oh, and his romantic life's a mess. Not to mention that trope where everybody neglects the genuinely nice character until he or she suddenly books a ticket to God's theater. And that's when all the friends realize their mistake. From the looks of it, things seem to be going that way here as well. We've got a seemingly closeted boy whose friends have been neglecting him for 2 seasons now. So yeah, there you go. Noah had good reason to be harnessed up. But hey, this is Stranger Things we're talking about. Things aren't always how they seem. Allow us to talk you through a theory according to which he not only lives, but becomes much more interesting. Next up, Will Byers' villain era. You heard that right. Will Byers might just be an episode away from entering his villain era. To understand how, grab a fun drink, sit back and listen as we venture back into past seasons. Let's go back to Will's connection to Upside Down. Yes, while some people think that Vecna might want to kill him because he didn't help him take over Hawkins as he wanted him to, others think that the same Flayership card could be the reason he joins the dark side and becomes Vecna's accomplice. The credit for this one goes to a keen Redditor who based this theory all the way to Season 1. So, the belief is that Will was actually hand-picked by Vecna in Season 1. Remember the silhouette of the monster that's after Will? It didn't look a thing like a Demogorgon. It was much more humanoid. Also, a Demogorgon would just have attacked and eaten him, just like Barb. But Will was followed by a slow, evil walking creature. When Elle opened the gate, years after she banished Henry Creel there, he also crawled out of it and found a sensitive, different, and outcast kid just like himself and took him to his dimension. This would explain why Byers was caught in the first place, because there wasn't any blood on him for a Demogorgon to detect. He was kidnapped. Now, either he wanted to turn the kid into a monster, but he was rescued before that, or he wanted him to be rescued and become Vecna's source of information from Hawkins. Whatever it was, it's clear that he saw potential in Will, as he did in Elle. So it's likely that this time, in the big fight, he'll try to use Will again. This could be in the form of him being a spy or just a direct accomplice of Vecna. While this is bad news for the gang in the show, fans really love this theory. This way, Will Byers will get a significant story arc and the kids will be faced with their own friends. Sounds fun, doesn't it? So whether he's getting Vecna'd or he himself is going to become Little Vecna, one thing's for sure, we'll see him floating in the air one way or another. Now for some other news, and the Duffers keep scaring us. The Duffers are at it again, and the worst part is that we know these two don't bluff about anything. In a recent interview about Volume 2 of the show, they told fans to remember that they've warned them about what's to come. The creators of Stranger Things want fans to expect much more darkness in the next volume, a lot more than the first 7 episodes. They keep hinting that things might not go to plan because Vecna's a smart villain. Also, they've made it quite clear that there'll be at least one important death this season. While talking about the darkness of the season finale, Ross Duffer told the fans to keep in mind the kids aren't kids anymore. Well, Ross, they'll always be our babies, and if harm comes to them, there will be riots. Next, Noah Schnapp's Jimmy Fallon appearance. Every time Noah's on The Tonight Show, it's always entertaining as hell. In his latest appearance on the show, the actor tried on various wigs inspired by the 80s trendy hairstyles and told the audience how much he'd begged the Duffers to give Will a different haircut. Later on, he straight up said that there will be deaths in the second volume. Multiple deaths. Let's hope he didn't get in trouble for that. Give it a few years and this kid will give Tom Holland a real run for his money. Finally, Sadie says Max will open up more. This season, we got to see more of Max's character development, and Sadie knocked it out of the park for sure. But according to her latest interview, Max will be much more vulnerable in the coming volume. Maybe we'll get to see her let out all the intense emotion she's been bottling up. Here's to hoping she survives this season, because a lot of people on the internet think she might die in the finale. That's a wrap for this video. Are you also convinced Will's going to get killed in the second volume? Or does him going villain mode sound more plausible to you? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.